Hi everybody, my name is Attila Adam and I'm a Los Angeles-based freelance photographer. I have my friend here, Ashi, and we're going to be shooting some cool portraits today. My background is in film. I went to film school and that's where I picked up photography. I just did it in the lab and I had a lot of fun with that. But looking at contact sheets and stuff like that later on just became a lonely experience. When I gave up my career or my job for photography, I decided that I would work with this camera every day. I would have it in my hand. So if I'm not, I feel guilty about not doing anything. So at this point, I have to keep looking for work. I got to keep working and I got to keep bettering myself. I actually draw my influences from all types of different art forms, whether it's paintings or music or other photographers or filmmakers. I'm admiring anybody who starts a project and finishes it. And I actually love people who do that with a smile and a great attitude. I think that's the biggest thing to me, and it's the most inspirational stuff when I see people passionately pursuing what they want to do and they do it well. I used to be a DJ and I went into a club once when I didn't know how to work a mixer. So I learned on that spot that I need to know as much as possible. So my thing is I want to learn about equipment and cameras and equipment as much as I can. So when I walk into a room, I'm always prepared and I can always get the job done. I've done a shoot when I ended up using my phone and that was fine because I knew how to manipulate the images afterwards. And I shot one shoot with a drone when we just were using the drone's camera to get the images that we needed to finish up the job because we lost the battery that froze at bad condition. So I think you just have to live and learn and then apply everything you learn into your to your craft. Well, right now I brought with me a Canon 6D and I have a Sony just for fun. But I've used almost all types of cameras at this point, from Leica to even old Polaroids. I feel like as a photographer, you should actually know more than one equipment, just so that you are never in a jam when something happens. You're able to continue to work. Canon at this point, to me, feels like second nature because I used Canon so many times. But I've been impressed with Sony, so I'm trying to use that more and get more comfortable, using one of the Sony cameras. The lens, I decided to buy an expensive one. I got the 24-70, the f2.8, a long time ago, but I shot everything with that. I learned astrophotography. I shot my portrait through that. I shot some close-ups and stuff. Like, I really used it because I figured if I'm gonna spend that much money, then it has to pay for itself. It has to work. So I really kind of abused that lens for like 2 years straight. But I find myself always going to the 35 as a sweet spot. And then I think the 50 for portraits comes from the film school lectures, because to them the 50 millimeter lens is the one that, like, what your eye sees. So it's like, it's exact, no distortion. So that's what was kind of pounded into me, and I'm staying with that. Although I've seen people liking the 75 or 65 and 85s for portraits too, which is kind of interesting to me because that's not what I learned. It is your job as a photographer to make a space yours. So if you are given a corner or given that street corner or out in the field, I think it's your job to look, assess, and make it work and come up with ideas and still create good work with what is given to you. I don't think we talked about it, but I look at photography as helping people. I always feel like whether you work for a client or an individual, you help them to tell their story. Or if it's an individual, you maybe help her or him to look the best possible way. And I think it can be very empowering as well. Even though I've been shooting, I consider myself a newcomer. And I think it's a really tricky thing because everybody tells you that you need to be a specialist. And in my life, what I have learned is that actually, and everybody else is teaching, they go like, don't put all your eggs into one basket. That's like the life lesson that I've learned here. Yet everybody else wants to tell you in photography that you should specialize. I think what you need to do is photograph what you're passionate about, whether it's micro or or macro photography or landscapes or whatever that is, do what makes you happy, and I think from that figure out what it is that you can do and do it well and branch out from that point on. But I do feel that you should try a whole bunch of different things, from action sports to other things, because photography is an art and it also has technical aspects to it. So I think you should learn a lot about your equipment and other people's equipment, and you should learn a lot about different genres and styles to figure out what you really want and you'd like to do.